Hi, everybody. I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady. I'm America's #1 small business expert. And it is my pleasure to welcome you to Small Biz Chat Live. For the last 9 years, every Wednesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern, we've gone live on Twitter answering your small business questions. It's a safe place to get peer to peer advice. But once a month, we take it to video. And tonight I'm broadcasting live from my Small Biz Lady Facebook page, my YouTube channel, and we haven't forgotten about our peeps on Twitter. We know who made us. So we're broadcasting live on Periscope on Twitter as well. And we have an amazing show for you. We started Small Biz Chat because my mission is to end small business failure. And everything we do is in support of that. Normally, we're live on Twitter with just one expert typing you the answers, but tonight you're going to have the opportunity to hear live from 3 guest experts. And listen, I want you guys to know that we do this because you guys have been loyal to us. Small Biz Chat will turn 10 next year. I can't believe we've been doing it that long. But listen, we do not disappoint. We have amazing guest experts, and I want to just quickly give you a glimpse of what they're going to share with you because we know there's still time for you to have a great fourth quarter. So with that, let me tell you a little bit about tonight's guest. Our first guest is sales expert Alice Hyman, and she is going to talk to you about how to organize your sales process and how to hire a great salesperson. Our next guest is, gosh, how do I even talk about this guy? He is a social selling guru. His name is Phil Gerbyshek, and he's going to be talking about how to make real connections online. And last but certainly not least, we have one of Canada's top personal branding experts. Her name is Cher Jones, and she is here with us to talk about how to leverage video if you're ready to build a personal brand. So I don't want to keep you guys waiting any longer. I would like to introduce my first guest for the night. And let me tell you something. This lady, I've known her for years. She is a good friend of mine, and she was gracious enough to come and hang out with us tonight. Her name is Alice Hyman, and Alice has been helping companies increase their sales for nearly 20 years. She's based in Reno, Nevada, and her firm specializes in the complex sale and helping people strategize with their sales teams to help the thing about it is you can't just hire salespeople, you got to train salespeople. So Alice specializes in that. She helps people find new business and grow business within existing accounts. Now, here's the secret, guys. Most of Alice's clients can claim that they've had more than a 30% increase in sales after they work with her. So she's the lady that I call when I need help with sales in my organization. And I am so excited to have her here with us tonight. Alice, I appreciate your sales leadership advice. Welcome to Small Biz Chat Live.
Well, it's wonderful to be here. I'm really excited to talk with everybody who's listening about how they can build their sales organization and grow their sales.
Absolutely. So let's not even let people wait any longer. I want to know first thing, why is generating consistent sales so tough for small business owners?
Right. Gosh, every business owner I talk to wants to know the answer to that question. And I think truly the main reason is because a business owner has so many things on their mind. They have so many hats to wear. They're busy managing people and managing inventory or developing products or running, a location of some type. And even though sales is important and they know that, they're just so busy and they don't carve out the time to sell. And so it gets put on the back burner. Well, I've got to do this. I've got to do that. Oh gosh, I didn't sell this week, right? There wasn't enough selling time. And unless you're in a retail spot where people are walking into you, selling is a lot of work and you've got to make sure you've got time on your calendar to do it. But there's another reason, Melinda, that some of us really have a tough time. And it's because as a business owner, we never really thought about the sales aspect. We never thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to start a business and then I'm going to have to sell. And you know what? Some people don't want to be in sales. They don't like sales. They're afraid of it. They think it's yucky, it's icky. they don't want to do it. So that coupled with all the other things they have to do, if on top of it, they don't like selling, they're going to procrastinate and they're not going to do it. And then they find themselves in a terrible position because they just don't have the sales they need to give them the cash flow to run their business.
That's a very common problem. But when I think about small business and sales, to me, it seems like it starts with a goal, right? I want to understand how and when should a small business owner develop their sales goals?
Yeah, that should be before you ever open your doors. Okay. You've got to understand what your market is and what piece of that market your business can get. And if you know what your average sales going to be, whether it's business to business or business to consumer, you have to understand that this is the market. I feel like I can get 10% of that market because I've done my homework, I've done my market research. And if my average sale price is X, then I know exactly how many sales I have to make, right? So I set that goal. Now, in the beginning, of course, we want to have these great big goals that we're going to make, but let's be reasonable with the resources that we have. What would be reasonable? The problem is that starting a business costs money. It takes a lot of time, and we want the money to come through the door fast, but it doesn't. So we have to have enough cash in the bank to float us while we are getting our name out there, building our brand, and letting people know about our products and services so that they can start to come and talk to us and we can have conversations so that we can sell to them. It takes time, but that goal has to be set before you open those doors, whether it's an online business, brick and mortar, business to business, business to consumer, it doesn't matter. Get those goals set before you start.
And I love talking about sales goals because, all the time, small businesses are like, oh, yeah, we're going to make $1.8 million in revenue this year. And I'm like, listen, I don't care about how much you're going to make this year. I want to know how much you got to make this week. Because if we know how much you got to make this week, we know how much you got to make this month. And it's not this pie in the sky, oh, something I can worry about tomorrow kind of number. It's like, no, we got to make $50,000 this week.
Right. And you've got to break it down, Melinda. Yeah, you are 100% right. So whatever your goal is, hopefully it's based on reality so that you can make your goal, but break it down into small chunks, especially if you already have a sales team or if there's others in your company that are going to be helping you sell. It's too enormous for them to try to go for that gigantic goal you've set. We got to do it by the hour, by the day, by the week, by the month, by the year, right? Because if I know that I need $500 an hour to make my daily goal, I can see, oh, I didn't make $500 this hour. So now I'm going to have to catch up, right? And I think this is a huge mistake so many companies make. They think, well, it cost me $750 a day to keep the doors open, or it cost me $5,000 a day to keep the doors open, depending on what size business. Well, I didn't make $5,000 a day. I'll make it up through the rest of the week. Well, then what happens tomorrow? Then you only made $2,500. Now you've got $5,000 plus $2,500 you got to make up. Now the third day comes, the fourth day comes, and in a very short time, they are behind. They're digging into their credit line. They're panicking. They don't have cash flow. And I'll tell you what, none of us are at our best when we are panicking, right? I mean, holy cow. We cannot be in panic mode. So number one, make sure your business is funded well enough for you to open the doors and to withstand some time before that cash flow comes in. But number two, you have got to break those goals down to the smallest part so that everybody understands the end of the day came and we didn't hit that number. So we need a plan to make that up this week. What are we going to do?
Absolutely, because if you don't work, you do not eat. And that is just how it is. Now, Listen, let's switch gears a little bit. I want to talk to you about generating leads because lead gen seems to be where the trouble starts. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about what are the best ways to generate leads for small business?
Yeah, this is something that you need to become expert at if you are going to be in business. And if you are not expert at it, you better find an expert and you better have a budget to pay them. The issue comes when we have a couple of interested businesses, just 2 or 3, and they're not really ready yet, but we've got to make our number. And they're the only 3 deals we've got. So we're forcing that issue and then freaking out when we don't get their business. We have got to stay out of that trap. Now, you have 2 guests coming on a little bit later that are going to talk about some ways to use social media and video and things to help generate leads. But let me give you some really basic and easy ways to generate leads that anyone can do. Again, I specialize in business to business complex sale, but these things work for business to consumer. They work for retail. They work for business to business that isn't a complex sale. These things work. Okay. So now, number 1, you have got to tell your friends and family that you are in business. And this seems like a no-brainer, right, Melinda? Tell your friends and family. Please tell your friends and family. But you would not believe how many people don't do it. And if they do it one time, maybe during the launch. And that's just not enough. You have to remind your friends and family over and over again that you are in business and that you would love to have them help you in whatever way they can. I mean, this is pretty simple, but it doesn't happen. So please tell your friends and family that you're in business. Make sure they understand what you do in the simplest terms. Make sure they can repeat it to other people, and make sure they are out there being a walking advertisement for you. Make sure they have business cards in your wallet. Melinda, I bet your mom has your business cards in her wallet.
My mom carries my books in her purse, Alice. It's ridiculous. I mean, honestly.
I love it.
Anybody that'll talk to her.
Right? Right. So that's what we have to do, though. We have to get our family to do that. They love us. Of course, they're going to help us, right? So that's number 1. If you're not doing that, you are missing a lot of business, okay? Number 2, you have got to get out and network. People need to see your face. This has been the truth since the dawn of time. People want to know you, like you, and trust you before they buy from you. You've heard that from a million different sales experts. I didn't make that up, right? So if that's the case, how are you going to do that? Now, luckily today, it's easier than ever. And especially for people who are not as extroverted as you and I, Melinda. They're not... Yeah. Oh, shy? No. Right. But these introverted people have to do it too. So if you own a business, everybody in your company needs to have sales on their mind. Don't hire people who tell you they don't want to sell. You're too small for that. And even as you grow, let's make sure that we have everyone in the company understanding that they have a role in the sales process, right? So they can be out there too. Everyone can go network. It doesn't matter if you own a restaurant and it's the dishwasher, that dishwasher can go network. It doesn't matter if you're a manufacturer and the person who packs the boxes, that person can go network. And Melinda, we need them to find great places to network. For example, what are some places you go out and network?
Oh, well, the NABO chapter here in my area is terrific. Also, the Chamber of Commerce is a good place to network. And then certainly just sometimes you just end up knowing other moms who own businesses at your kid's school. I mean, there's all kinds of places where you meet people. I think that you always have to be prepared for a meeting, which means, you need to look like the person they're supposed to talk to no matter where you go. I don't get on an airplane looking a mess. I never know.
Right. Never.
Beside me. And I almost always have cards or at least one of my books with me in my purse. So those are things that I do to network, Alice. So give me one more because we got to go to break.
Yeah, well, I think you can look for, of course, any professional organization that has to do with what your company does. There's the human resource societies, and there's, the accounting associations, and there's an association for everything, and they're in the city where you live. So certainly take advantage of that, but then just look for other things that maybe you wouldn't normally do. But think about groups like Rotary, for example. What a great place to go meet a lot of other business owners. So Be open, go to meetup.com, search on the internet. Your chamber probably has a list of tons of other organizations where you can go network. So be open to it and be looking for places where you can go out and meet people.
Well, Alice, I really appreciate your advice. That was really, really helpful. So listen, you guys know here on Small Biz Chat, our mission is to end small business failure. And you know, if you don't understand sales, you're not going to be in business long. So listen,
right.
I'm really excited to tell you about this too. Tomorrow, I am going to be doing a free webinar on how to boost your sales. So if you guys look down below, the link is there. Make sure that you guys go and sign up. It's not too late. I'm doing it at 2 o'clock tomorrow on how to boost your sales, because sales is important. It's fourth quarter. You still got to make your number. And I'm going to tell you everything I know that's going to boost your sales. So listen, do not go away. We're going to come back and we're going to talk to Alice a little bit more about how to hire a salesperson. Don't go away. We will be right back. You are watching Small Biz Chat Live. Hi, I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady. I know you might be thinking about quitting your business and going back into corporate America, but wait, before you give up, my new book, Fix Your Business, could give you a whole new lease on life. My 12 P's of running a successful business will walk you through step by step how to grow your business revenue, how to hire great people, and streamline your processes, and so much more. Grab a copy today of Fix Your Business and get your life back. Welcome back to Small Biz Chat Live. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady. We were just talking with Alice Hyman, and she is now going to drop some pearls on us about how to hire a salesperson. So here's the thing, Alice, what do I need to do first before I hire a salesperson, right? Because the issue is not necessarily that you need a salesperson. You need to figure out if you're ready to hire a salesperson, right?
Oh, yes. You absolutely have to be ready. And I think that's the biggest mistake that's made with hiring. The first thing you have to do is write out a clear job description for this salesperson. What exactly is it you want them to do? The problem is that if you've never hired a salesperson before, you may not know the answer to that question. So you might need to get some help. But you can look around on the internet for other job descriptions that are similar to the one you're going to hire for and get some ideas that way. There's also people who can help you that are human resource people helping you write a job description. So what is this person going to do? Second, you need to think about what kind of person do you want? Is this a go, 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 really fast kind of person? Or is this sort of a person who needs to take their time and take it easy and be a little calmer? What kind of personality style should they have? And how will that integrate with your culture? So you really need to think about that as well. And then thirdly, you need some success factors. How will you know if this person is doing a good job or not? With the first month, the second month, the third month, the sixth month, what are the metrics you're going to put in place to let you know if they're doing that? So there's three things, basically: a great job description, what kind of person do you want and how they're going to fit in your culture? And then the third one is, what are the success factors and how are you going to measure them?
That's good stuff. Good stuff. Now listen, so now that I know all that stuff, how do I go about recruiting this person? What do I do?
So this is a tough one. What happens is usually people put out an ad and they put it, on the internet. We don't have newspapers anymore. It used to be the newspaper, but we put it out on the internet and we get resumes and we filter through those resumes and we pick a few people who fit and then we interview them and we hire one. And this is what I call hiring the best of the worst. So we don't really get a good salesperson that way. And then we throw them into the job. And then what happens? They don't do very well, even if we give them the great training and the great coaching and all of that, which many companies actually don't give. But even if we do that, sometimes these people won't make it because they're not a good fit. So the best way is to ask the people who work with you already, who already know your culture, they know your products, they know you. Ask them, who do they know that would be a great salesperson for your company? And maybe those people are gainfully employed. So let's say something like, oh, you know who would be great? Heather, but she works for so-and-so. She'll never leave. Fantastic. That's the one I want. And I'm going to go try to get her. So get people to make suggestions to you of people who they think would be fantastic. Even if those people are gainfully employed, you can start to approach them, get to know them, and see if they would just consider having a conversation with you to learn about your opportunity. And you'd be surprised, occasionally you can get them to switch. But I'll tell you, this is not easy. And if you can afford it, and I think everybody really can afford it because it's a lot less expensive to get the right help, hire a specialist. Hire somebody who is a specialist in hiring salespeople to help you.
I can't agree with you more. And I've done that and it has worked out beautifully in my company. Now, Alice, here's my last question for you. What kind of compensation should you be prepared to pay? I mean, are there people out here still working for commission only? Like what is it that you need to be thinking about? Because I think part of our issue is we don't know how to pay a salesperson either.
This is a difficult answer because it really does depend on the situation. Retail is different than business to consumer, and then business to business is different. And if it's business to business complex sale, it's different. So you really have to get a baseline. Figure out in the community where you want to hire the salesperson. It might be your own community, or if you have a sales force that's going to be all over the country for that city. What are, you've got a job description, you've got your metrics. For a salesperson of the type that you want, what would a baseline pay be? Now, you can go on the internet and get some of this information. You can do a wage survey, but you're going to want to find out what others who do the same type of job are being paid. That's number one. And of course, then you're going to have to decide whether you can afford that or not. But if you are a new company and maybe there's a new territory, it's going to be more difficult because no smart salesperson is going to leave a great territory where they're making great money and come over to your company where it's a brand new territory and they don't know whether they're going to make any money or not. So you might have to pay a little bit more up front to get those people to come on over and, sweeten up the deal a little bit, give them some other benefits. So it really depends on what you pay them. But I will tell you this, do not hire a salesperson who works solely for you on straight commission. It is not a good idea. Now, if there's a person who's set up in business for themselves and they sell for several different companies and they have success, and you've talked to the other companies they work for and they have success, or there's some sort of manufacturer's rep or distributor that has success, that's fine. And some of them will work on straight commission. But if they're working only for you, it doesn't work. I don't even have time to explain why now. You're all welcome to contact me and I'll tell you, do not go out and look for a straight commission salesperson to work solely for you. Don't do it.
Well, I think that is a good last word, and we're going to leave it right there. And thank you so much, Alice. This was so helpful. Up next, we're going to be talking to Phil Gerbershek, and he's going to help us learn about making connections that matter. This is Small Biz Chat Live. I'm Melinda Emerson, and we'll be right back.
My new book, Fix Your Business, is really about encouraging people to take back control of their business and change how their businesses is run. It's not okay to skip paychecks. It's not okay to never feel like you can take a vacation. And it's also not okay to not know how much profit you've made in your business until your taxes are done. I really want business owners to stop letting their businesses be runaway trains. I've written this book to teach people processes and systems to help them run their businesses intentionally. My goal is to help existing entrepreneurs create a business that allows them to live their dream life.
Hi, everybody. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady, and we are back on Small Biz Chat Live. And normally every Wednesday night, we're live on Twitter, but tonight we are live everywhere. We're broadcasting on Facebook Live on my Small Biz Lady fan page. We're also live on my YouTube page, and we're live on Twitter using Periscope. We love our Twitter peeps over there, so you know we cannot forget about you guys. But right now, I'm so excited to introduce my next guest. His name is Phil Gerbershak, and he is terrific, and he inspires audiences to take action immediately. He is a highly respected speaker, trainer, and coach who works with small businesses on leveraging LinkedIn to build more leads and to have qualified sales conversations and close more business. Phil, welcome to Small Biz Chat Live.
Hey, Melinda, it is fantastic to be here. It's great to see you again.
Yes. We love you so much. We had to have you back 2 weeks in a row, right? So listen, I want to talk to you about making connections online, because that is really, I want to talk about, I think we talked a little bit last time about how to make connections in person. But what I want to talk to you about is how can you virtually connect with anyone online anywhere?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And I think a lot of people miss this. They really think it's so much different than it is offline. So first, you have to look people right in the eyes. And I really mean that. You pull up their profile and you look them right in the eyes and you think about them. They've got two eyes. You look real deeply. You really think about, what do they need? What are their hopes? What are their dreams? How can you fit into that? It's really important. And I mean that sincerely, because often we just connect and then we don't make any sense of that. So that's the first thing. And then we have to connect them in the eyes, the letter I. So 3 I's in this one. The first one that's really important is in common. And this is really the easiest way. If this is available, this is the one we should use. In common means, who do we know in common? So if we don't know each other yet, but yet Alice knows you and Alice knows me, now I can connect through Alice, and Alice can connect me to you because she's someone that you trust, someone that trusts you, and someone that trusts me. So we can talk about that and make that in common connection really, really important to do. When we think more about that, right, the second I to that is insight. And this is one that a lot of small business owners forget about because they think, oh, well, I just have a product, or, oh, I just have a service. No, you have an insight that can actually change another person's life. So take the time, think about that person. Again, if you look them in the eyes, like right here first, you know what matters to them. So offer that insight based on your background. And then the third I is interesting. You have to try to be interesting. You can't just be boring. Do something fun, do something full of energy, or do something unexpected. Sometimes this means that when you're connecting with someone, that you compliment them on something completely unrelated to business. So be interesting and don't be like everyone else. Could be your headshot. It could mean that you wear orange glasses, or it could just be that you have more energy or more respect than anyone else. But please don't be boring. So if you can mix those up, you can connect to virtually anyone by looking them in the eyes and focusing on the 3 I's that I just gave you.
I love it. I love that. Now let's talk about the biggest mistake people make when pursuing relationships, because I've seen all kind of bad practice out here. But tell me what is your biggest bugaboo that you see that people make mistakes with?
Well, the biggest thing that I see is this illusion of connection. The fact that they connect to someone and then they think suddenly we're all intimate and we're really connected. And I can ask you anything because, you've been my LinkedIn friend for months, for years, but we've never had a conversation. So we think because, well, I've been posting on LinkedIn, I've been posting to Twitter, I've been sharing on Facebook, they suddenly somehow think, well, now we're buddies. Now I can ask you anything. So, hey, Melinda, why don't you buy my stuff and click my crap and buy my junk? It's like, really, dude? Like, we're not even connected.
Right.
For real. So that illusion of connection is so important. It doesn't mean that we're really connections, right? Really big C connections. Instead, we need to slow down. We need to focus on the relationship and really on what the other person needs, because to make a sale, it's not about me. It's about them and meeting their needs and meeting them right where they are. And that takes time. Let's just be honest. Relationships don't happen overnight. So slow down, serve more, and you'll sell more.
I love it. Serve more to sell more. That's tweetable right there. I hope my fans out there are tweeting and sharing and leaving comments. Tell us if you're liking this and what you want to see more of on Small Biz Chat Live. That's awesome. All right, now, Phil, I have been told that there's no better way to find leads right now than LinkedIn. Like they say, LinkedIn Sales Navigator is the truth, Ruth. So I want you to tell me, is that true? You know, how can people really leverage LinkedIn for sales leads?
Sure. So, well, the first question you asked though is to find. So absolutely, that is where people are. There's no question about it. People are on LinkedIn. You know, new person joins LinkedIn every 2 seconds. All the Fortune 500 is on there. Everybody and just about every business is on LinkedIn. Now, just because you can find them doesn't mean you can catch them. You got to have good bait, right? So I'm not a good fisher person, but I can tell you that I know that throwing dead bait that you threw at every other fish isn't going to catch you any fish. It's not going to make you any sales, and it just stinks. So don't do that. You got to slow down. I was actually talking to one of my coaching clients today, and he said, you know, I have on my profile that I run a business, but I also understand supply chain. Okay, so I understand that, and that's not often the case. But what happens is people say that he owns a business, so they pitch him supply chain solutions. It's like, really? Pay attention. Read a little further. Don't use the single point of connection there, the in common that I just talked about. Go deeper and don't do the same thing, because if you hit somebody with a dead fish, they're just going to smell bad and want to hit you back. They're not going to want to buy from you. They're going to disconnect. And in this guy's case, he actually actively goes out to his whole network and tells people, don't do business with this person because they don't pay any attention. They just have the same crappy pitch to everybody that they talk to. Boo.
Right. I agree with you. So if I'm looking at LinkedIn, I want to use bait that's not the same bait I'm using for everybody else. It's not the bait that worked 2 years ago when I was looking for fish. How should I spruce up my approach on LinkedIn? Like, how do you build relationships on LinkedIn with people you don't necessarily know?
Well, it starts first with your good profile, right? That you look like someone of value. A lot of people, they put it out there and they think that it's like a resume. And hey, if you're a business owner, you're not looking for a job. So stop looking like a stinking resume, right? I don't care that you're good at Microsoft Word. That doesn't help your business. Get the heck out of here. So fix that first. So second, and this is really important, follow them on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn now lets you follow people. You don't have to necessarily connect because, frankly, to send a connection request to somebody that you don't know, you're taking a risk that LinkedIn is not going to get you marked as spam and booted the heck off the platform. So follow first, and then third, and this is the hard part, is you got to pay attention and add value to them, even if they're silent on LinkedIn. So what does that mean? That means if you look them in the eyes, remember we talked about this, you see this is something that could be valuable for them. Then send them a private message. Don't embarrass them in public. Send them a private message and say, hey, this is valuable. And if you're not connected and you don't have the ability to send them a private message, if you're going to add value, send an in-mail that just adds value, because the goal of an in-mail is not to close the sale. It's to further the conversation. So add value as much as you can. Do those 3 things and you can get connected and add supreme value to your network and close more sales.
All right. So you alluded to this a little bit, but tell me, what is the difference between a connection and a capital C connection?
Yeah. So a lot of people, right, they collect connections with a little c on LinkedIn. I've got 30,000 connections. I'm connected to 13,453 people. Well, how many of them even know your face when you show up in their feed, right? A capital C connection is a real person that you're really connected to. I mean, Melinda, after now we've spent a couple hours together, right? We're big C connected. If we see each other, I'm going to give you a big hug, and hopefully you're not going to, call the cops on me this time, right? So that's good. I appreciate that. So if we think about that, and we really think about if our goal is to deeply connect to someone, not just loose connection, but deeply connect, it means that we've added great value. It means that we've maybe been just a little bit vulnerable, not completely vulnerable. I don't got to tell you about my athlete's feet for us to be friends, right? For us to do business, but a little bit vulnerable around there. And we also have to be relevant. And this is the thing that often people miss. We're just connections on LinkedIn. Who the heck cares? I would much rather have a conversation with you so we can get to the big C way faster than we be little C connections on LinkedIn and never talk.
Right. No, I couldn't agree with you more. I do think there's people that just collect people and they never, it's like, you get to the point where what is the point? I recently passed 10,000 connections on LinkedIn, but I actually know, I would say a good 7,500 of the 10,000 people that have connected to me, I met them personally. And so it's a different level of connection. And so one of the things I'm glad LinkedIn has kind of stopped is I don't get these random requests from people asking me to introduce them to people and I don't know them. It's like, I'm not introducing you to the CEO of Pitney Bowes. Are you crazy? Why would I do that? I don't know you, so I get what you're saying about big C, little C. Now, listen, when is it too soon to ask for business? Like, how far along in you're building these relationships do you come in and ask for the business? How do you do that?
Well, the sooner you can take it offline, the sooner you can ask for the business. So almost never do you want to make a public ask of, hey, buy my stuff, click my crap. Now, sometimes we do that with webinars, and that's okay, right? Because that's still valuable. That's all right. But usually we then want to take it more private, send a private message, send a private email, and have a conversation like we're having here. So if we have a private conversation and we listen, and we pay attention, and we connect in a relevant way, anytime in that conversation when there is an opening for, does it make sense to go deeper and to have a real conversation about how I could help you, how my service could help you, how my product could help you, that's when it's soon enough. So when you can take it offline, because it's selling with social, remember, not on social. So once we get it off of social and we have a conversation, anytime in that conversation after we've listened first, right? 2 ears, 1 mouth, pay attention, and then you can ask for the business, because then it makes sense to ask for the business based on the conversation, not randomly like, hey, Melinda, I know we haven't talked in years, but you know what? I got something that's really awesome and you should buy my stuff. That's stupid. That doesn't sell.
That's exactly what I want, to hear from somebody who hasn't talked to me in 5 years who wants to sell me something. And not like ask how my kid is doing, like,
yeah, you want to buy a watch? Like, come on.
Yeah, no, that doesn't work. All right. I got one last question for you, Phil, because we have got to get to Miss Cher Jones. Listen, what is your content formula to drive leads? Everybody's doing content. Everybody's doing too much content. There's a lot of bad content out there. Do you have a content formula to drive leads?
Well, my content formula, first, of course, is video, right? We have to have some video because people need to see our energy and see if they actually like our style. That's really important. I am not for everybody. People that get scared of somebody with my energy probably aren't going to work with me. Let's just be honest. Okay. So that's the first thing. Video is important. But then the second piece of content is actually going out and commenting on other people's posts and getting in their feed. Because here's the thing, right? If I just sit in my living room and I'm like, well, here comes some business and there it goes. Yeah, I'm not going to really do very well. We still have to hunt. The whole hunt is still important. And hunt is also 4 letters. Help is 4 letters. So by hunting, we have to help. So go out, comment, like, share. If you look at the LinkedIn feed, you don't believe me. You think, oh, Phil, you should push more content. Here's the thing. My LinkedIn feed now, if I look at 10 posts, 3 are advertisements, 3 are video or some long form post, and 4 are likes, shares, and comments. If all I'm doing is producing content, I'm only getting in the feed 3 times. But if I like, I share, I comment, now I'm in the feed up to 7 times. I have people say, dude, you're the first person that always comes up in my LinkedIn feed. Well, no kidding. It's because I'm purposely interacting. I'm not just barfing content out there. I'm interacting, and the content strategy is to engage and be engaging.
Wow, Phil, that was some brilliant stuff. I feel like, dang, you just really said something here. There's lots of tweetable stuff out here. I hope my fans out there are sharing the great lessons and gems, and hopefully you're sharing this video too, because we are rocking tonight. We got some amazing folks. Phil, thank you so much. When we come back, we are going to be talking with Cher Jones, and she is going to be talking about personal branding and leveraging video. So I think there's a trend going on. Everybody's talking about video tonight. So listen, stay with us and we'll be right back. This is Small Biz Chat Live.
Are you tired of struggling in your business, not taking a paycheck, dreading dealing with your business in the morning? Are you regretting even starting your business in the first place? Well, I know you're tired, and I also remember what that kind of tired is like. But the good news is, it's time to stop feeling that way. Stop! I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady, and my new book, Fix Your Business, is a 90-day turnaround plan to get back your life and reduce chaos in your business. I've been in business nearly 20 years, and let me teach you how to build a business that works for you. Grab a copy today.
Hi, I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady, and welcome back to Small Biz Chat Live. My next guest is Cher Jones, and she is a social media trainer and personal branding strategist, and she believes that technology is hardwired into her DNA. Now, listen, she is going to be talking about all of the different kind of social media networks you could be leveraging out here, whether that is LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. She's all about how to build relationships online. And so she's regarded as one of the top social media trainers in Canada. So welcome, Cher Jones, to Small Biz Chat Live.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited, and like just the fire that both Alice and Phil has brought is just like, I'm on fire now just because their energy was just that high. So I'm happy to be here, and you are just rocking it. So thank you for having me on.
Thank you for being here with us. You know, that Phil Gerbershake, you got to watch that guy. He doesn't caffeine. That dude is on fire, right? So listen, let's talk about personal branding, because right now, it's like one of these buzzwords everyone's talking about. You got to get out from behind this anonymous website you want to have up here on the internet. So when I'm thinking about developing a video strategy for my personal brand, where do I go first?
Okay, well, you have to figure out what it is. So it almost harkens back to what Alice was talking about as far as what are your goals? What is it you want to accomplish with your video strategy in the first place? Because some people, it really is, and to speak to Phil's point around, you have to do video so people can get an idea of your energy, because Phil's absolutely right. Phil and I are like super high energy people, and we're not for everybody, but it's a great way to, when you're thinking about your video strategy, it's a great way to get yourself out there so that people can understand what it is you're doing. But again, with the video strategy, not everybody is for on camera. And that's also what people have to understand. And so what are they comfortable doing? What is it they want to accomplish? What sort of video strategy will work best for them? Some people, it's voiceover over like webinar style, for example, or some people, if their audience is on Instagram, it might be behind the scenes Instagram stories, or it could be on YouTube how-to videos. So you have to think about is what do you want to accomplish? Then what are you comfortable with? And most importantly is how are you going to add value? Because having a video strategy without value, you're wasting your time, because your whole job when you are creating videos is to build trust. So when people see your content, they actually want to click on it. So if you are not showing and producing value, it's actually a waste of time.
I agree with you completely. And as a former television producer, I got to say, less is more, people.
Absolutely.
If corporations sell you things in 30 seconds. You do not need 10 minutes of anything. Okay. I'm just saying. Now, listen, let's talk about, okay, so I've decided I'm going to use video and I want to use, some of the social video formats. How do I decide which one is best for my brand?
Okay, first of all, you have to figure out where's your money network, because most small business owners, if they're really truly going to focus on where they're going to be socially speaking, they could probably focus on one network and go deep on the one network. Phil talked about the importance of engagement, and that is really what will accelerate their videos. Is really the views on their videos is all about engagement. If they're engaging with their network will actually see their content. But as far as what considerations you need to make as far as the network is, what kind of video are they willing to consume on that network? So for example, if you're a personal trainer and you're starting to build out your clientele on LinkedIn, where we can see there's an obvious fit on Instagram, your content on Instagram cannot match this type of content that you have on LinkedIn. You need to be talking about how can you get little work breaks in where you can work out, or how can you, when you're traveling, how do you eat well, that sort of thing. So it has to be in context to the network where people are willing to hear the message and it makes sense for that network.
Now, I know that there's people out here who don't know that you can also damage your brand pretty quickly with video. I know everybody's talking